Okay. Knew that was gonna happen. Rough water.
Well, from that intro, you should know two things now. Number one, this is another outdoor gameplay video. And number two, I had another camera issue. For the last few winters, you've seen that I do play outdoor at a private rink. And every year we kind of top off that season with a little mini tournament, 3-on-3, and rotating goalies. Well, this year the weather didn't cooperate too well. So instead of canceling, we were able to move to a new location, which is on a lake. Actually, not really on the lake. It was on the inlet channel to the lake. Because of that change, I was a little concerned about taking any gear out with me that I felt was maybe going to be at risk of rougher lake water. Ice can have a little more sediment and stuff like that into it. So I was a little concerned about that. I've had a set of gear here for probably about a year now. It was really rough and I got a pretty good price on the whole package. I had the pads actually on my not able to be repaired shelf. I decided to take a look at them one more time, reassess some things, because I figured if I could at least make them look kind of good, it would be worth the risk and to take a set like this out where if they were damaged in any way or if my repairs didn't hold up, that it wouldn't be such a bad thing. So that was the deciding factor on moving forward with this Reactor 4/5 kit. And because of the colorway, I had to go with the Whaler jersey. We'll start right off with the pads. So again, these are Reactor 4 pads. They are from 1995 because that was the year that Cooper introduced the Reactor 4 series, and then by 96 everything had moved over to being Bauer branded. So these pads had numerous issues, but primarily the knee rolls. The pads had maybe been used on street hockey or something, but the knee rolls were just worn down super thin. There's a backing cloth, and then there's the polyurethane skin, which is the color. Once that skin wears off, you get a fabric backing exposed that actually will draw in water and hold water, and the more wet it gets, the more weakened it becomes, and it starts to peel and rip apart. There was one hole already, and very, very, very thin material. So I didn't know exactly how I was going to deal with that to start with. First, I went through and touched up as much of the green as I could that was worn off. And I thought it ended up looking pretty decent that way. So when I went to address the white, I knew that just using any kind of paints wasn't gonna make these pads stay put together. And I realized I had a vinyl repair kit. I think they sell them at automotive stores for repairing tears and rips in vinyl seats in a car. They have a glue material, but there's also a dyed recolorant. And it's a heat activated paste. I remember using that in the past for a couple of minor repairs, and it worked really well and looked really good. While ultimately, when you look at these pads right now, they look pretty bad. This is after a couple of hours of playing on a lake. They looked amazing before I went out on, well, I'll be fair. They looked pretty dang good before I went out on the lake. But the knee rolls did hold up. Now, I used a rag and I dabbed it in the paste and spread it across to get an even coating across the top of it. I just used my heat gun from about a 6 to 8 inch range. So I just kept moving it. It cured and did a darn good job. I'm, again, mind blown that they didn't fall apart while I was out on the lake. The knee roll here is blown out at the seam. I could possibly put a small patch there and then use a staying needle, take a loop of waxed thread, heavy waxed thread, and pull it all the way through and tie it off in the back in the leg channel. That might fix the look of that, but Not sure I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to keep these pads as is. I just realized so many things I didn't even talk about on these pads. For example, the straps are leather, and white coating on those straps was just dust turning. It was nasty. In fact, in some areas where these pads have been stored, where the strap was touching the pad, it like melded and fused the white skin of the straps to the pad in some areas, and that was a real pain to deal with. So I spent a couple hours and basically scraped all of the white off of these leather straps to make them just be the undyed leather. This was all touched up with green, but it's really weak and soft material there. And the way I play and being on that lake ice, which was pretty rough, obviously wore out some of that touch up I did. Give you a close up here. You can see how kind of glossy that ends up. I did have to sew the toe bindings back on. I had to replace the toe laces. There's just so many things about these pads that I had to do. It was really hard to touch on when I was recording the video, but I figure I'd give you a little bit more close up here. And moving on from there, we can go over to the Reactor 4 catch glove. Now, again, this glove was in seriously rough condition. I had to do a lot of different small sewing repairs. The flap up here was ripped loose. I did some temporary tacking to roll it back under and tack it down. I can see that probably my thread seems to have broken loose or loosened. Maybe I didn't get my knot good there, I'm not sure. This binding all the way across the wrist area was all off. I threaded that back on, sewed it all back on. They had to be cleaned, so I did the hot water and alcohol flush through the palm, opened it all up, basically flushed super hot water through it, then also some alcohol and let that seep through, and that really cleans and destinkifies the glove. It was super stiff, so once I had it super hot from that flushing, I closed it up good with a ball inside and hung it to dry in a closed position with like a clamping hanger here to keep it closed, so that when it dried it was kind of formed, and now it's a really nice well broken in GM 4000 Reactor 4 glove. That brings us to the blocker. This is actually a Reactor 5 blocker. Again, it was in really poor condition. The palm was really bad off. I had to do quite a few different repairs to sew it together. There is some holes in it still, but I was just trying to put something together to wear that day. The seam across the top was split open. In this case, I just did a spiral stitch, and then I actually used a vinyl glue over top of that to kind of seal it. There's a hole over here. I took the blocker part, foam board and all that out, took a Clarino patch, put it inside of there, super glued it in. That covered the hole, made it a little more reinforced inside. Yeah, I can't even begin to tell you all the repairs I had to do to these things because I can't remember now off the top of my head. It was a few weeks ago now. Okay, so the Whalers theme, we've got navy, green, and white. I figured I had to throw in navy, and since I own Navy SK2000 helmet, I decided to put together the navy combo. This is probably one of the hardest colors to find. It is one of the hardest colors to find in the SK2000. HM30 double bar, a Kineski custom replacement chin pad, and then a Cooper GTP dangler. That wasn't really enough navy, so I went with the navy Reactor 5 pants that, when you really look at it, actually have white with green outline 5 on them and the whitish silver with green outline logos. It really tied the whole kit together to have the helmet combo and the pants in the navy color. Finishing off, I went with the Darcy Wakaluk Super Pro Light. I don't have a navy and green stick, unfortunately, so this was as close as I could come to looking right to match the whole set. But there you have it. That's all the gear. It's a story behind the gear and a little bit of what I had to do to get this gear out on the ice. The game video stuff is coming up. I'll be honest with you, it's not a very good edit. My cameras were kind of too far. Well, one camera I shut off after I durfed and then had to clean the lens. I accidentally shut it off. So the little tournament is 3-on-3s. It's on small ice on the inlet. The games are roughly 15 minutes long. The wind was gusting at like 45, 50 miles an hour. The ice had cracks in it and little chips here and there that we had to deal with. My net kept blowing away. I kept blowing away. Jessica, the other goalie, kept blowing out to the middle of the ice. Absolute blast of a time. Even with all those little difficulties going on, I was playing outdoor hockey with a bunch of good people and just having a good old time. Anyhow, I'll put something together and that's coming up next. If you like the video, please hit the thumbs up button. If you got anything to say about the gear or anything about the video, drop some comments down below. And as always, thanks for watching.
I didn't either, just that. Oh, that was fun. Hopefully you're recording still. traffic.